gospel would have been to the people of his time in the ancient world, because family ruled. Next to God, family was the greatest value. And it's a tradition that has been preserved throughout the centuries, even in some places today. I'm told that in Greece, grandmothers still choose their grandchildren's names. And in some Eastern cultures, families, their marriages are still arranged. Now, at the time of Jesus, it was the father who decided what the religion would be. And after he made that decision, the wives, the children, even the slaves were expected to follow. So when Jesus said, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me," there would have been audible gasps. People there would have been wondering, what kind of outrageous, radical teaching is this person advocating? How can we possibly take him seriously when he violates everything we were taught about the supremacy of family, something that God desired? But as we look at Jesus and his teaching, he isn't diminishing the importance or the sanctity of the family. What he's asserting is that the ultimate priority is the family of the kingdom. And those families that are based on bloodlines follow after that. Furthermore, besides showing the importance of the kingdom as God's family, Jesus is already expanding the notion of the family to be something more than what's decided by bloodlines. And we can see glimpses of that already in the Old Testament. As we heard in this first reading from the second book of Kings, there was the widow, or the woman and her husband, who offered hospitality to Elisha and his servant. Now, we don't know the name of the woman or her husband. What we do know is that they were childless. And that was tantamount to having no future. In some ways, they couldn't even be considered a family. No children, no family. But God recognized this couple as a family, even before they had a child, because their focus was on giving hospitality to one of God's representatives, his prophet. As we heard, they make room for him. They give him a place to stay, food, no strings attached, expecting nothing in return, at least a child. And by bringing Elisha into their home, they're making a statement about the home as God's place, because the prophet represented God. And already they see that the family is more than connections through blood. So what may have been foreshadowed in that story about this childless couple, who, as we know, eventually won't be childless, what we see being foreshadowed here is the new understanding of the family of the kingdom. A family of God made up of all God's children, no matter what race or religion or way of life. Genes or pedigree do not determine membership in God's house. Now, that's never been an easy teaching to grasp, because I'm sure we know there are people whose lifestyles or values are so foreign to ours, which might contradict our great values, that we would never consider family members. And if we're honest, I think most of us could say we even have members in our families who we wish weren't members of our families. And it seems that Jesus understood that, because immediately after his teaching about father, mother, son, daughter, not being more important than himself, he immediately proclaims the cross. The cross, whoever doesn't take up can't be his follower either. Because recognizing every person as a member of God's family is never an easy task. And it entails embracing the cross because it involves dying to ourselves, dying to our ideas in order to embrace God's. Those of you who have ever been at a funeral at which I presided, may have heard me quote my favorite author, poet, Mary Oliver, Pulitzer Prize winner, who died in 2017. And in her poem titled In Black Water Woods, she wrote this: "To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing that your very life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go." And I always maintain we do very well with those first two. We love our mortality because it's really all we know. And we do hold it close to our bones. It being among things, other things, that web of relationships that we forge throughout our lives, that web that sustains us, and helps us to appreciate the world that we live in. It's that third one that's the challenge, the letting go. Because as human beings, I think we don't like to let go. We like to hold on to and cling to those realities that are so meaningful to us. Well, the time has come for me to let something go. And it's not my mortality or my life, but it is my life as I have enjoyed it here as the pastor of St. John of our parish. And I always knew that that letting go moment would come. I just didn't think it would come this soon. But as I pondered that, the words of my 8th grade teacher came back to me, Sister Mary who was very fond of saying, "Man proposes, God disposes." And it's amazing how after 54 years when I first heard that, those words all throughout my life helped to illumine very significant moments of letting go. Because as we know, we can all propose, we can all make plans, but in the end, it's God who decides. I'm thinking that Mary Oliver and Sister Dionysia are talking about me. And I would like to believe that through their prayerful presence, they're with me at this very challenging time. And I believe that because despite the difficulty of letting go, I find I'm able to do it peacefully, gracefully, bold in God's Spirit. But most importantly, full of gratitude for all the blessings that I was given during my 18 years as pastor here at this parish. I made reference to some of those blessings in my bulletin article this week. Blessings like our school, our liturgical celebrations, especially during the High Holy Days. I didn't know today was going to be a High Holy Day, but I'm very glad we're all there. When we enhanced our times of joy and in times of sorrow, you kept coming back here to this house of prayer. Because there's something here that you wanted, something that you love, something that you need, something that you are willing to make great sacrifices for in order to have. And whatever it is, God is an indispensable part of it. And that has made an impact on me, the depth of which I can't even put into words. Your faith has enriched my faith. And that's a gift that can never be measured, for which I will always be thankful. As of July 1st, I will be returning to St. Colby's Valley to once again try to live the monastic life, ora et labora, you know what that means, right? Ora, prayer, and ora, work. And as I return to my community, I take the parish of St. Joan Mark with me, in my heart and in my prayers. A number of people have asked what I'm going to be doing back again. Or Elabora, what else? The specifics I don't know, and that will unfold. Those will make themselves apparent at times, at the time needed. Some people have even asked if I'm going to get bored when I'm at the Abbey. And I said, maybe. But if I do, I have this little joy. One of our Christians gave me a few years ago. How great to do that. So if things get too tedious, too boring, I have this. But beware, if some evening you look out your window, you see some little creature with a couple lights, it's not an alien from outer space. It's just me coming by to say hello. And thank you for letting me be a part of this family of St. Joan of Arc. May God bless all